Ew! Smells like it's time for another Shy Life podcast.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Good luck, studio.
Oh, it's the Shy Life podcast.
Oh, there's going to be some drama ahead.
All I wanted was a pie, and then I hatched out of an egg.
Okay, bring the mic over. He's ready to record.
Hello.
It's the quiet ones you've got to watch, you know.
Is it metaphorical? Is it deep? Is it deep?
Boy, he's not all that shy is right. Shoo.
Blimey, Governor. It's the Shy Life podcast.
Hello, Paul.
Excellent. 642.
642. Bonjour et bienvenue au podcast The Shy Life.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Shy Life podcast with me, Paul the Shy Yeti. How you doing? I'm all right. So, what's happening this episode? Well, I used to be known for my travels and going places, and of late I barely left my own home, with maybe the odd trip down to Salisbury, but I've actually been on a train and I've travelled across to London and then up from London to the mysterious place that is called Stoke-on-Trent. It's a real place, a place of myth and legend and of beauty and, well, some of those things may not be true, but anyway, I'm trying to make it sound good. You just imagine it with your own listener imagination. It can look like whatever you. That's the wonderful thing about podcasts. You can make it look like however you want it to look like. But anyway, why have we come to Stoke-on-Trent? Well, we've come to see a friend of mine who vaguely resembles a mongoose. It's true. Sorry, that's an insider joke. But let me run the theme music, and when we come back, we'll meet the mongoose, and, well, we'll just see what happens. And there'll be some other bits and pieces that will go in this episode that I've already recorded. But, yes, run that theme music.
Darling, it's the Shy Life podcast.
Good, well, it's a positive thing, Paul. The High Life, the Shy Life.
You won't find a cast of characters like this everywhere.
I'll go anywhere for a taste of it.
Delicious.
Hello, campers. How are you? You quite like a big bang, don't you?
Oh, yippee.
Go Shy Yeti.
Oh, I hope he hasn't found out my secret. I think he has.
I love the Yeti. Yes, it's my favorite thing.
If you thought that was bad, just listen to this.
Yeah, I'm strangely drawn to Yeti Uncle John's ankles as well.
I could eat my body weight in crisps every day.
Has anyone seen my hot sausage?
It's all green and yum, 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 yum.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to begin.
It's the Shy Life podcast.
I like that, yeah.
Marvellous, Paul.
Hi there.
So, listeners, here I am in Stoke-on-Trent. And, yes, as I say, I was in Salisbury at my parents' house, and then one day I woke up and I got driven to the station, and I got on a train, and I sat on a very uncomfortable seat, and I travelled for an hour and a half to London Waterloo. And then I walked across the station and down to the bus stop. And there was a bus. I got onto the bus, and I sat on the bus for about 20 minutes until I reached the end of the bus's marvellous journey, and I found myself in Euston Station. Yeah, bet you're jealous. So there I was in Euston Station, and I had an hour and a half to wait. And I sat, I found a seat. I thought, I'm just going to sit in this seat. And then suddenly up popped a new Kylie Minogue video. And I thought, right, I'll watch that then. And I watched that. And although it was only 2 minutes long, I managed to make it last for about an hour and a half by the time I'd got excited. And then my train came in, and I walked down to the train, I found my seat, and I sat in my seat. And nobody sat next to me, thank goodness, although there were two noisy ladies next to me. Well, not next to me, across from me. But anyway, so then the train started, and it went along the tracks like this. No, actually, trains don't make that noise anymore. So then we went through Nuneaton Station there, and sure enough, there was Nuneaton to be done. I didn't have anything to eat at Nuneaton. But anyway, I stayed on the train, and then I went down the track a little bit more, and then they said, your train's going to be a little bit late because we're running behind, and I had to text my friend the Mongoose and say, I'm going to be a little bit late, but I guess you know that because it'll say that in the station. Anyway, I arrived at Stoke-on-Trent, and there I was in Stoke-on-Trent, and I was on the wrong side of the platform from where I needed to be. So I wandered along the platform with all my luggage. I got on a lift, and I went up the lift and across a bridge and down a lift and back down the platform on the other side. And there was some ticket gates, and there, standing behind the ticket gates, was my friend the Mongoose, who's now sitting here. Hello, Mongoose. Hello. Do you want to be called the Mongoose, or do you want to be called something else?
The Mongoose is fine.
Okay. I've known the Mongoose for many, many years, since about 1066, I think. Oh no, or was it 10:30? Something like that. Anyway, quite a long time. And we've known each other. We've chatted for years, but we've never met, other than not in the same room. Now we're in the same room. And what have we done since I got here? We did lots of chatting yesterday, didn't we? We did lots of chatting about my love life, basically, over about the past 30 years. And you managed to not fall asleep. Well, not at least you managed to not show you were falling asleep. And you cooked me a lovely, yummy pie dinner made of steak and pie. Well, pie, steak, and pie, and the carrot, and the broccoli, and the mashed potato and the gravy. That was very good, and lots of tea. I've had plenty of tea, plenty of builder's tea made of real builders, and other liquid such as water and old coffee, and the Mongoose has the most comfortable bed in the whole of the universe. So that was good. And today we've been watching many, many videos of my Yeti on location videos from over 10 years ago now. And I've been sitting there laughing at myself from 10 years ago, which is what I always do and really shouldn't. You're not supposed to laugh at your own stuff. But my phone's trying to escape now. Oh, I forgot about the bacon and egg sauvage, which was very yummy too, and I managed to squirt some of the egg down my t-shirt, but I've hidden it by zipping up my sweatshirt so he can't see. But I've told him now, so I've given it away. But there we go. We're going to have a horror film marathon later today, and tomorrow, and the day after. Because I've inflicting myself on him for many days. No, not too many, a few, but we've still got 2.5 full days left. So we're going to watch the Omen trilogy, and then we're going to watch the Scream 5ology. We can't watch 6 because it's not out on DVD yet. But so we're going to have a few days. horror full days. And what else is on the menu for delicious foods, Mongoose?
Pasta bake. And apple crumble. And custard.
And there's a full English breakfast somewhere as well, isn't there?
Yes, and spaghetti bolognese.
Oh yes, and Haribo.
Yes.
And what was we had a dime bar cake for tea.
Dime bar cheesecake.
It's all. I'm being treated like a Yeti princess. It's amazing. And it's raining outside, so we weren't going anywhere anyway. So
it always rains.
So we're in the Stoke-on-Trent. But we're not quite in Stoke-on-Trent anymore, but I'm not telling you where we are because I don't want you mobbing the Mongoose.
It's
I know what you podcast listeners are like.
You're in the Mongoose'S lair.
I'm in the Mongoose'S lair, but we're not saying. But I'm here voluntarily, so we're not going to tell you where I am, and we don't want you turn up outside and like oh, we want the Mongoose autograph. No, he doesn't need that. He doesn't want to be chased by screaming fans yet. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, well, as I say, we do have bits and pieces already recorded from other things I've done around this time. I won't say exactly which ones they are in case I decide not to put those in and I put something else in. So, but anyway, I do have some things coming up. So I think we might have a little break, and Mongoose and I are going to start thinking about whether we're going to start watching our horror films, and we're going to talk later on maybe about when we've seen some of the films. We might have a little bit talk about horror films. We both like horror films. We might talk about horror stories. We might talk about all sorts of things. And if not, then I'll make him watch more Shy Yeti on location videos, even I had to say after we watched about 10, I think this should be probably the last one. It's been nice revisiting them, but I'm fed up of hearing myself. No, we'll find something else to do. But anyway, now it's time for you to listen to something else, and then we'll be back in. It'll only be a matter of minutes, but it may be a while. It might be even a day. We'll have moved on.
It could be centuries.
It might be what?
It could be centuries.
Oh no, I don't. It's quite exciting. I'm not sure. Right, have a listen to something. We'll be back. Oh, also later on, we've got this big screen which we've been watching the Mr. Shy Yeti videos on, and we're going to turn it into a video conferencing screen, and the Shy Life podcast regulars are going to appear on the screen, and they're going to speak to the Mongoose, and because I think Bettina Dupre has a she likes her handsome young men. So what can I say? I mean, the Mongoose isn't as young as he used to be, but he's still pretty young compared to me anyway. So he's giving me a funny look. You're not as young as you were when I first met you. That's true. You're still young. You're still youngish compared to me and handsome. So Bettina's going to love you. So.
No apple crumble for you.
Oh no! What have I said? I just didn't want him to get a big head. That's all. Anyway, right. Let's listen to something when we come back. We'll be back. Yeah. Right. Okay. Hello, listeners. Guess where we are? Go on, guess. No, guess. I'm telling you, guess. All right. We're at Troby and Lisa's house. And Nick's here, and we haven't seen Troby and Lisa for a long time, even though they've been on the show, and I talk to Troby almost every day when I play Fortnite. But it's not. It's different. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Oh God, that was high pitch.
Careful.
You can test the recording. We are all in the same room.
Yeah.
He said, speaking over Nick, so it can't be different crap.
Yeah.
They're all speaking over each other, so you can't possibly...
La 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 la.
Oh, no. Oh, I did that bit. I can't.
But we are on separate sofas, not because we've had a row, but...
we're not like ABBA, the ABBA of podcasts.
But Nick is over there in the distance.
From a distance.
And my fortnight colleague is beside me.
I'm here over his shoulder.
Yeah. Only we know how to fight boys dressed as rabbits.
Have you defeated Darth Vader, didn't you?
I defeated Darth Vader, yeah.
I've got to defeat Darth Vader.
I can't remember how I did that, but...
I think Warren gave you a help.
Oh, yeah, he did. But we've not recorded in the same room since...
1066?
1066, no. Probably 2017, I'm guessing.
With an arrow in his eye in the corner there.
Well, pre-COVID, certainly.
Yeah, I think it was 2017. I know we recorded like for an early episode when we used to meet in Winchester, but that was. But then you came to Salisbury, and it was in the early days around the archives because you went up to Nick's house to record him, and it was the same day as I was having to meet Harry and Robin for a school reunion.
You zoomed off. We saw you, and then you
had to zoom off a bit, and then I had to
changes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In anything else, I can't remember.
For episode 10 of Around the Archives, blimey.
Yeah, so that might have been 2017.
Blimey, yes.
I mean, I could find out, but
I think you're right. Yeah. Well, we managed to do it once a month in those days, didn't we, Lisa?
We did, yeah.
What about the podcast?
And I spent last summer. I spent 4 days staying with Elaine and Keith, learning to pronounce the name of the new Doctor, and
intensive course.
I've now. Everything's overturned, and I'm now pronouncing his name a different way thanks to these guys.
What, they taught you the wrong thing?
Yes, they did. They're lovely people, but...
pronunciation isn't their strong point.
What we need is a continuity announcer. That'll be interesting.
And now on BBC One?
No?
No!
Nick and I came here on the bus, with 2 buses. Nick got on in Salisbury, and I was dropped off at the top of the road near my parents' village.
Fine, were you bad?
Just a road,
they just dropped you off.
And very sunny. It's been a lovely sunny
it's still sunny here.
It's sunny now. It wasn't there.
Yeah. It actually was pretty cold when we left Salisbury.
Actually, it's the best day we've had
in a long time.
While.
And there were quite a lot of people on the bus, and
it was just like old times. You and I going to
Bournemouth.
Yeah,
you dragging a younger boy off to Bournemouth.
Dragging a younger boy out to Bournemouth. Because I was disgraceful.
He was. He never did anything wrong. I wanted it. I wanted to Sky
Games. Is everything.
I wanted to. I wanted to Sky Games.
Honest officer.
I wanted to Sky Games. Who wouldn't? I mean, goodness.
No, that's true. That's very true.
It's much rather go looking for old vinyl in
with older men.
With older men.
We've got a new vinyl. We've got a new vinyl floor. You've stood on it.
Very nice.
I don't know. I can't play it though.
No.
I've tried putting a needle to it and nothing comes out.
And then we went on a little bus, and we think we were about the only people on it.
Apart from an old lady that was giving you sort of guilt vibes because you've moved from one, even though you clearly had a stick. That was the first bus, wasn't it? But the bus up to where we are now, it was like almost our own personal people
bus.
In front of us kind of literally threw us under the bus because they sort of said, "Oh, they moved over there," to the disabled. Oh, thanks a lot, Harry.
Just because they were a little bit more disabled.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It was just a very busy day with lots of people needing special seats.
There's a lady with a walker. Every time
suddenly there was a hierarchy. On another day, if it had just been me, there'd be people going, "Oh, please have this." Because it was busy, I was like, "Oh, so I'm not wobbly enough."
You should have done a feint and just collapsed.
But the thing is, it was a lot more pleasant journey than I had up on when I came up on February, which was I think cold, and also the trains were completely right off. The trains are right off today.
There's no trains today, so that made it quite easy.
All the trains are hiding under some leaves.
Yes.
No.
The fidgety trains.
Yes, we've been doing recording for Around the Archives, but we can't tell you about it. Nick said something. If you can work it out from what Nick just said, then
I know.
Good luck to you. You said, no, you know.
I know, but I'm not.
But this might come out before your article comes out.
It probably will.
Spoilers.
Because I've no idea what we're doing for the rest of it yet. Unless you can think, pitch me something, Paul.
It could all happen.
Pitch me till I squeak.
We could do the show right here.
Do I get a credit for being in the background and gig-giving a couple of times?
I expect so.
Paul was here throughout the article, but he didn't say a thing. I didn't.
Giggleswick.
I didn't think I was needed. I didn't feel like I had anything I could say. It was like watching Around the Archives panel at a convention or something where I was watching the performance, but I didn't need to.
Well, you could have come on stage and done your thing.
I didn't know anything there. I was learning. It was educational. It was like going to a open university lecture.
I have to say though, there is one character in the programme I'm not allowed to mention because it hasn't been released yet, which I think that would actually suit you down to the ground, because he's not dissimilar to a character that you got on Shiloh.
You'll have to draw me a diagram and then hold it up.
I think talking of characters, and he certainly is a character. I think he asked if he could be beamed in live by satellite. It's Yeti Uncle John, who is very jealous that he couldn't be here today. Yeti Uncle John, are you there? I most certainly am.
Oh my God.
I most certainly am. Oh, what are you doing?
Shut up, Lisa, shut up.
What are you doing? No, I'm by satellite, it's fine. I'm by satellite,
John Pertwee's nicked your voice a few times.
I couldn't be here today. This is your life.
I thought I saw your aura appear on the table.
Yes, it sounds like I'm in the room, but I'm not.
It was a sunbeam.
Yes, I've been compared to a sunbeam before now. Are you all getting on? Are you getting on well? Are you getting on well?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're deliberately talking over each other, so just to prove that we're not on Skype.
Live.
All the same quality, look, folks.
Was there nice food? Yes, there was. I'm sorry, there's none left for you though. No, I didn't expect you. It's fine. I've just been down Kapow supermarket and got myself a pizza as well, because I heard you were having pizza. I'm going to share it with Cromitty. I'll have 7 pizzas, he can have the 1. Oh, yes, Uncle John, that's cruel. He's got a small appetite, he doesn't need
coffee,
lots.
Lisa.
It's
coffee.
Trying desperately not to spill it at the moment.
Whose coffee is it?
Whose coffee is it?
Yeah, advertise.
Oh, they're not going to pay me any money, so free advertise one.
You've got coffee, I don't have coffee. You can make your own coffee. You've got your own pizza. You get your own coffee. Oh, well, it's very nice to catch up. I just wanted to say hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello, John.
And I've got to go back to the magpies now. They've got me running around like a blue arse yeti. Yeah. So we'll have a very nice day, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye, Yeti Uncle John. Dear. Well, I told you he'd turn up. But anyway, well, it's very good to be here, and
it's very nice to have you.
To be here, but at my age, it's nice to be anywhere.
We'll be travelling back to Salisbury in the daylight, which will be quite nice. Nice seeing different fields and things.
Any good sights on the way?
Well,
anything to distract you?
Most things are as I remember them, even though I haven't been on that bus route for a good long while. Not much has changed, except Bournemouth Hospital looks a lot bigger.
Well, it looks like a building site.
We went past some old locations, both for your stuff and mine.
You saw a chip shop?
I saw a chip. Chez Fred. We used to go there a lot when my in-laws were alive and when we had the car. And also Lansdowne College, where both Tide of Freedoms were filmed.
I saw the park where, from an early episode of Sutton Park, where I think Harry and Robin join a cult together, and Lee threatened to leave the show and vanish mysteriously. I think it was all to do with those claw monsters.
And we shot the same scene of Tide of Freedom in 94 and 99, but one was in bright sunshine and the other was in pouring rain.
Yeah.
But there was also we walked past. Was that where we caught the bus? Was that where the park where?
That was the park. That was
with all the
with the Christmas episode of the Beaches. There was a video of the sea all being crashy.
I said it's me being crashy as well. I was on the pier.
It's quite below.
Which is always painful. A frozen pier.
A frozen pier because she's not here.
Anyway, listeners, we will have to be getting our bus, so I hope you don't mind if we send you on your way, basically. This is,
Go away!
There's other things happening in this episode, so...
Look over there, quick, run off.
We're not doing a full episode, we just thought we'd check in.
7 years before we visit again.
We just thought we'd check in. I've got coffee to drink, and there are cats to say hello to. There's a lot to be done. So, yes, we'll send you back to another part of the episode. But anyway.
It's just that way on the right turn, and you can't miss it.
Yeah, you can't miss it. Make sure to flush afterwards. Anyway, thank you for saying hello. Thank you for having us, Lisa and Troby.
Thank you.
And thanks for accompanying me, Nick, and being here.
That's all right. I enjoyed. It was a very pleasant.
Nick gave me a Mars bar whilst I was waiting.
Did he?
Very good service.
I didn't get one.
No.
Well, we journeyed and
I had to walk between one bus stop and another. He thought I needed sustenance, which was good.
Sustenance.
And we had
type of Sutton Park.
And he gave me some. What was that drink?
1 moment cooler.
Oh
Rubicon,
which I thought reminded me of that Quattro drink from the 80s. The flavour of it.
She didn't get enough money from her.
No.
I'm going to look that up in my book.
Susie. Anyway.
My book.
Very nice, actually.
It is mentioned online as having existed. I didn't invent it.
On Bongo.
And those Caramacs.
Oh, and Bongo. Yes, they still.
No, Caramac's one thing. Those nice those like bounties, but with cherries in.
Quattro, here we are.
That's nice.
Oh gosh, there's quite.
Cabana.
There's a picture of
Quattro.
Cabana. And Secrets.
As opposed to Squirt, which just
now, that always reminds me of the front cover to one of the Now That's What I Call Musics from about 1988.
I was too young for Squirt. I wasn't allowed.
That's a very 80s design.
Quattro is very 1984.
So all these lovely food that
an old version of Lilt. Lilt doesn't exist now, does it?
Does it not?
It's
No,
just stopped.
Fanta, isn't it now? I think Fanta lemon or something.
It's stopped.
2 more sticks to Fanta.
Yeah.
My mum's cola.
My
horrible.
Mum's cola. My mum's tea bags. My mum's meaty dog food.
I'm not drinking that.
My mum's wallet.
Is there anything about cabanas in there?
Cabana.
Oh, there will be a cabana.
Secrets, pyramids.
Yeah, we did a section of the Open University about different chocolate bars.
Oh, because I used to sell all this in the 80s when I worked at Four Boys.
Because Lisa's specialist subject was like history, and Troby's was science, and mine was chocolate bars.
Goodbye. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. And I like different variations even now, where they have. When I stopped to get this is the complete trivial thing, but when I stopped to get your Mars bar, I noticed that because they had special. I love Sensation. Ali and I love Sensation crisps, and they had some special flavours for the coronation. And I've been looking for these. I love different special one-off flavours for things.
Yeah, so do I. Don't need to advertise it. Just it's something different. I'll have it. Give it here.
Because I remember. I have memories of doing I think it was a Copernicus files, and we were on Woking Station, and there was an orange Kit Kat. The first time I'd seen orange Kit Kat, I think that was new. That they'd launched the orange Kit Kat. There's stuff they bring back as well. Trios came back, Trio bars, and a few years.
Trio bars? What about Topic bars? Have they gone?
No, Topics are still.
Okay.
I don't think they're quite as frequent as they were. But
actually,
I love Topic bars.
I thought the Mars bar, although I appreciated having it, I felt that Mars bars taste more like Milky Way bars to me now. I don't know if they've changed
I don't think they're quite that bad. I mean, Milky Way.
I wouldn't say they were bad.
I'm not saying that. Sorry, Milky Way. I didn't mean that.
Well,
but no, the Milky Way is very light. You know, the sweet you can eat without ruining your appetite.
I felt like there was more of the fluffy stuff and less of the toffee than there used to be in Mars bars, but it could have just been that my taste buds.
In 2004, they brought back Texan bars, and they were smaller and less sort of rip your teeth outy than before. I remember buying one in Payton, a newsagents in Payton, when Ali and I were up there, and thinking, oh right, they're smaller than before, but they're back. Toffos badly need to come back. My teeth disagree most strongly, but my taste buds agree to disagree.
Oh well, right, listeners, off your trot. Bye for now.
He's still here.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, listeners. Come with me. No, well, you're here. Mr. Mongoose is making breakfast in the other room, and I snuck into his bedroom. We're in his bedroom, in his boudoir, but we're here for perfectly pure reasons, because this is where he keeps his DVDs and his Blu-rays and his books. And you know what we're like on this show. We like to be nosy, and we like to see what's going on. We like to see whether the friends of the show, whether we share any tastes. I mean, obviously, I know I do to a certain extent, because, well, our friendship is partly based on things we like. And we have been watching films since we've been here. We've watched 4 films. We'll talk to Mr. Mongoose about that later on. But so I'm looking at his DVD collection, and we've got the Alien Anthology, we've got Prometheus, and we've got Alien Covenant. And I love Alien, but I also love those two, Prometheus and Covenant. We've got Altered States. I don't think I've seen that. Ad Astra. American Werewolf in London. That's a good film, of course. Some of these you might recognise that I don't. Atomic Heart, Apocalypto, Atomic Blonde, Avatar, Battlestar Galactica, The Boys, Battle Royale, Babylon, Beetlejuice, Big Trouble in Little China, The Birds, classic one there. Can't read that one because the cover's too shiny. Bohemian Rhapsody, Boyhood, Bridesmaids, Candyman. I presume that's the original plus the remake. Quite like the remake, but I mean, obviously I like the original best. Colour Out of Space, Coming to Africa, Commando, The Dark Knight, Batman, Deadpool 1 and 2, The Devil Rides Out, a classic hammer there. We've got Dune, possibly the original and the remake, Escape from New York, The Family, Fantastic Beasts, both Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore, Firefly, some Joss Whedon, I still haven't seen that all the way through, Serenity, Enter the Dragon, sorry, the sun is shining on, The Fly, The Fog, Fright Night, Game of Thrones, Gandhi, Get Out, Ghost in the Shell. Isn't that by the guy who did The Village and all those ones? Ghostbusters 1 and 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife, The Girl with All the Gifts, Godzilla, Gremlins, Gravity, Halloween, and then the more recent trilogy of Halloween, The Haunting, Hell Night, Hereditary, The Howling, Inception, Independence Day, the original and the later one, Interstellar, Interview with a Vampire, Insidious 1 and 2, It 1 and 2. I must say that I was talking to Mr. Mongoose. He said, what would you like to watch? And I said, one of the things I said was, I haven't seen The Howling for ages. He said, didn't really like that. So some of these are maybe gifts, so they may not all be his most favourite films. Some of them may be presents. And also you can go off films that you used to like. We've got Jacob's Ladder, John Wick, Joker, Lost World, various Jurassic Park films, Knives Out, Hobbit films, Lord of the Rings films, Labyrinth Legend, Leon, Little Shop of Horrors, Life of Pi. What's that? The Love Hanger. Is that right? Looper, The Lost Boys, Lost in Translation. It's not all horror. Mad Max, Maggie, Maleficent. A couple of those. Mars Attacks, Mortal Kombat. There's more than one of those, so I don't know if there's more than one. I don't know much about that. Melancholia. There's a box set here. Toppy will be pleased. Like classic sort of monster films, like Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Nightbreed, Night of the Living Dead, The Omen. That's the trilogy. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War from the Planet of the Apes. I think those are the later ones. Friend of the show, Patrick from America, he's been working on a Planet of the Apes movie that's being made at the moment. Poltergeist, there's more than one of those. Predator, Predator 2 and The Predator. Don't know what the difference is. We're getting lower down on the shelves, so I can't see all of these because I can't get down on my hands and knees for you, sorry listeners. But got Pitch Black, Red 1 and 2, Prince of Darkness, that's another John Carpenter, Riddick, Rocky, Running Man, Scanners, he's got them all in alphabetical order. I like my collection. The Shining, can't read some of those from this distance. Dr. Sleep, that's a adaptation of a Stephen King book. I've read the book and seen the film. Spider-Man, a couple of them. Silent Hill, Sinister. Sightseers, that's one of my favourite. I must mention that to Mr. Mongoose. Unbreakable, Split, Glass. I think that's a trilogy by what's his name, Signs, by the Signs guy. I'll have to keep that for another visit. I'm recording this and we've still got 2 days, but we've got plans for today and most of tomorrow, so I don't think we can fit in another trilogy. It just means I'm going to have to come back if you'll have me. Star Trek, I think those are the new ones. Into Darkness, Beyond, Tale of Two Sisters, The Thing, The Terminator, various Terminator films, Total Recall, Walking Dead. I've jumped because I can't see. It's a bit dark now. Transformers, Thor. There's Heroes, Fringe. A lot of these I have. The Walking Dead, the actual graphic novels. There's a lot. And yeah. Spider-Man. But yeah, definitely a lot of films that I could turn into movie-thons here. And also it gives me an idea about films that I could bring when I come to visit Mr. Mongoose again. But anyway, we're going to look at his books in a minute. But I'm not quite so familiar with some of these. Yeah, well, I'm going to have a cup of tea or something and I'll come back. And yeah, we'll talk more about these films later on. And yeah, okay. I had a bit of a fortnight go earlier, but nobody was around. So.
I had a go. I had a quick sort of couple of games and came second. How'd you do? How are you doing?
I ended up in a game with two people. I forgot to come out of trios.
Oh, you like meeting strange boys, don't you?
Well, usually when you used to play trios by yourself, you just
told you not to go into that dark room and meet strangers.
but you used to just go into the game as a one person and have to fight three people. But this time it sent me into a little team with three people, but who both kind of went off and either got shot or decided to leave the game. And I might
Did they shout? Did they shout in their foreign language?
Thankfully not, because that's really disconcerting and annoying to have squeaky.
I'm sure people play the game in next to a washing machine, because all the people that have popped up in mine that do that are next to a washing machine, and they're speaking some gibberish that I do not understand.
Yeah, I never know. Was it Italian or was it German?
It's usually French for me. And
I want some of their breaded camembert
though. Baked camembert.
Yeah, they're probably sitting. They're probably sitting there eating it whilst they're playing.
Yeah, they're laughing. They're laughing at you. That's why I shoot them readily. Oh, yum, 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 you and me and you. Lots of things to see and do. You and me and you. Me
and you. Was the crow in? Was it the crow was in that?
Yeah, the crow in that sort of
mouse or gerbil or something.
Gerbil or some other kind of fictitious dodgy creature.
Wouldn't the crow have eaten him?
The crow would have pecked out his eyes and left him there crying.
Well,
you're not renewing my contract for the second season. I'm going to peck your eyes out. Well, that's a really good idea for a horror movie, isn't it? Anyway,
do you ever see Schitt's Creek? Because the woman in that is supposed to be the mother's supposed to be an actress, and she's in a horror film. It's called The Crowaning, and it's like a really bad film. It's about like crows taking over, and I think at one point she sort of becomes a half human, half crow. So it's really bad.
I know a few of them.
Mongoose'S room. This time we're looking at his books. I'm sorry we didn't totally finish the DVDs because I couldn't get it out of my hands and knees, but we'll talk more about the DVDs later maybe. The books, as I say, some of these I know, some of them and some of them I don't. We got the complete works of Shakespeare, which is I'm not a big fan of Shakespeare, but it's a good thing to have. Got The Woman in White, got Wuthering Heights. Well, Mr. Mongoose likes Kate Bush, but that's probably not connected, or it might be connected. I'm not sure. I can't read that one because the cover print is that one.
The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, Count of Monte Cristo. If I can say that, I did the teaching. Oh, Sheridan Le Fanu. I know he writes horror, but again.
Carmilla.
Oh, Carmilla, yeah. I got Dracula by Bram Stoker. I don't think I realised Dracula was such a big book. We've got, these are nice hardback editions with lovely covers. I think I've got some Daphne du Maurier in the same series. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Frankenstein is about half the size of Dracula. Which is weird because you think that Frankenstein would be bigger. But, anyway, Frankenstein's monster, I should say. Anyway, the book's called Frankenstein. I'm just joking with you, listeners. Dracula and Frankenstein's monster. Oh, don't worry. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, which I can't remember if I've ever read, but I've seen some dodgy film versions. I mean, not dodgy, just not very well made ones. The House of the Seven Gables by Hawthorne. Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. Some good classics here. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The King in Yellow by Robert Chambers. Now, this is the book he was telling me about recently. It's short stories, but it's sort of late 19th century, something like that. And I don't buy many physical books these days because of my rheumatism, but I was thinking of getting it on digital to read it. Shirley Jackson. I like a bit of Shirley Jackson. The Haunting of Hill House. That's a good one. The Whistling by Rebecca Netley. 2 Stephen King's Dr. Sleep and The Shining. Well, they're connected, so that makes sense. Clive Barker.
The Scarlet Gospel.
I haven't read that one.
That's Hellraiser.
Oh, right, yeah. I've got the short stories from the Book of Blood and things like that. The Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Carrie by Stephen King. Mr. Mongoose likes Dexter, so he's got the Dexter books, which I like the TV series. I haven't really read the books, but I should do. Then we've got... I don't know these ones. Books on witchcrafty type things. Other books that are lying down, so I won't disturb them because they're sleeping. Then like psychology books, and then we have things like H.G. Wells. That's like a collection. We have H.P. Lovecraft, The Best Weird Tales of H.P. Lovecraft, and the Cthulhu Mythos Tales. I do want to read some H.P. Lovecraft. House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. Another one by Sarah J. Maas. I don't know anything about her. Crescent City. Encyclopedia of Fantasy. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, which I also have, but I don't think I've... it's a complex book. Kate Moss, Sepulchre. Book of Sand by Thea Clare. Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. Empire of the Vampire by J. Christoph. The Desert Prince by Peter V. Brett, and the Faraway Tree collection by Enid Blyton. Now, we were talking about that, Mr. Mongoose and I, because I think with Enid Blyton, a lot of people grew up with Enid Blyton, but people maybe read different things by her, and it was the Faraway Tree for me, because my mum had those books. The Deadly Education, The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. Some of these people I don't know, so I'll probably be asking Mr. Mongoose to tell me about some of those. More Dexter. A book by George A. Romero, The Living Dead. Lord of the Rings. Brian Lumley books. Don't know much Brian Lumley. Anne Rice books. And Peter V. Brett. Books by him. We're getting lower down on the shelves now, so... Neil Gaiman, Susan Hill, Women in Black, yes, yes, lots and lots of interesting books. Some I know, some I don't. We might talk about books as well when we talk to Mr. Mongoose later. I need to sit down now. I've been talking and standing up for 5 minutes or so. Poor old man. Okay. There'll be some other bits coming soon and other things, and Mr. Mongoose and I will still talk. Or we may have talked by the time this... I don't know when this bit's going in. I'm sorry, it's so confusing. I've got coffee arriving just in the right time.
Oh, God,
what would you like?
I would like a coffee. Yes, please.
I've also
won't it keep you awake?
Thank you. No, coffee doesn't work on me like that. I've also got 4 crackers with cheese and a pork pie.
Oh, you! Yeah, I hadn't had my dinner yet.
Oh, blimey! I should let you.
Did you say a pork pie as well?
A little one, like a Nelson Mobley one.
Lovely! Oh, I'm moving in.
Well, I'm only here 10 days a month. You can come here for the other 20. You're 21.
You've got your own transport. So. I'm just downloading this. I've entitled it The Well. I didn't get a bit too over the top, did I, at The Well, doing those characters?
No, it's just difficult to do when there's only two of us and there's about 10 characters going on.
It was getting a bit manic, but it needed to be excitable, and you can put some sound effects on there, can't you? And creaking and stuff, and drip, dripping, ribbit.
I'll probably have the usual, sounds like a piano falling downstairs sound effect.
Sorry about the birds. I forgot to go tweet initially. Tweet. You can always edit that out if you don't like the tweets. Tweet. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
I've got, it says it's 2 hours 14 minutes, but I think we'll get it down. We'll find a way of getting it down.
I've got 2 hours 23, but then again, I've got the talking at the beginning. I can't believe. Have you got pickle on it? Sorry, I have to talk about priority things now. Have you got pickle with it, or is it without pickle?
I don't think there's any pickle involved.
Oh, it must have pickle, you see. It must have a bit of Ploughman's with it.
This is just but this is my midnight snack.
Oh, you lucky git. I'm going to have cheesy chips when I finished. Ooh. I got some grated cheese ready, and I've got my favourite cooking utensil, which is my air fryer.
They all sound like magic or something.
They are magic because it takes me 10 minutes to do some chips. I don't need to put any oil in or anything like that. I get rather excited with my cheese. Well, I haven't done cheesy chips for years. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm doing chips in there. I'm doing all sorts of things. I cook all sorts of things in there. I do chicken and all sorts of things, and it's lovely. It's great. Apparently, you can do things like cupcakes and things in it, but that doesn't appeal to me.
Not at the same time as the chicken, though.
Chicken cupcakes. Now, there's an idea. I could break into that market. Sounds a bit foul, but...
Oh,
sorry. That's a paltry excuse. Oh, sorry. You're just egging me on.
Oh, no. My head will explode. I should let you go and have some food then.
No. Thank you for inviting me onto your show again. Thank you. I needed that weirdness at the end as a tonic. That scene just ran away with itself. I hope it wasn't too over the top.
No, exactly what I was looking for. It's just I was a bit exhausted after all the bloody 1990s lasts forever. I was like,
there's some good stuff in there, though.
Yeah,
there was some really good stuff.
Lots of big things.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been around when you were doing Sutton Park.
Yeah.
And I would have enjoyed. I would have loved doing that too. If you ever do Sutton Park, The Return.
Well, I did in 2010. You weren't around then either. So.
No, I'm still here. There. I love your style. I do. It's very. You use the word anarchic a lot to describe things, but I think it is very anarchic. But it's so unpredictable. It is so you just don't know where it's going.
Yeah. Okie dokie. I'll see you. Will you be on Fortnite over the weekend at some point?
Of course. I have no other home to go to.
Well, enjoy your dinner, and thank you very much.
Enjoy your pork pie and crackers and cheese. I'm not jealous.
Your cheesy chips sound good, though.
Right, Paul, it's great speaking to you. You take good care of yourself.
Yeah, you too. Speak to you soon.
All right. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra. Bye. Well, Mr. Mongoose, it's time for your interview now.
Oh no!
So you've been looking after me very well. You've been cooking me lots of nice dinner and breakfasts. I've had eggs and sausages and tuna pasta bakes, and I've had lemon meringue pie, and that was all. This was just one dinner. But you're a very good host. I believe I'm one of your first ever visitors.
Yes, you are. Yes.
And have I been well behaved?
Very.
Oh, thank goodness. You've been a very good host. We've been watching lots of films, haven't we?
Yes.
We started with the first 3 Omen films. What's your favourite one of them?
I would say part 1 and part 3.
Yeah. Definitely part 1. I don't know if it's just because the deaths are more memorable in the first one. And when I watched 2, I was like, I can only really remember like the bit where the birds get her.
Yes.
I couldn't remember much else. And about the only thing I could remember about 3 was that Ruby Wax was in it for about 5 seconds. But
oh yes, the death scene.
Yeah, she does some screaming. I can imagine if she was playing the real Ruby Wax, she'd be a completely different reaction.
I think that would just destroy the movie itself then, wouldn't it? Can you imagine Ruby Wax being Ruby Wax and the Omen? She'd have something critical to say about that.
Yeah. What do you think? So why do you think it's okay to be being evil and stuff?
But she didn't actually meet Damien though, did she?
No, she met his predecessor in the not his predecessor as in another devil's son, but as an American ambassador. But, and then we watched Halloween, which because we didn't realise we were going to have time for a 4th film, and of course we've seen Halloween many times, but it's always a good one. And then funnily enough, when we started watching we had our Scream marathon yesterday.
We did.
In the first Scream, is it the first Scream? There's little clips of Halloween, which I'd totally forgotten. So that was kind of a weird coincidence. Yeah, we did 5 Screams yesterday. that was just us doing Screams.
We had a lot of Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox yesterday, didn't we?
We did. It was really weird watching them age before our eyes.
Yeah.
Over a period of...
They aged 30 years within the space of 10 hours.
At the start, I was going, oh, look, Courtney Cox is so pretty. I didn't remember her being that pretty. and yeah, by the end, they're like, yeah, her hair's better. Her hair, it was bad in the middle. Courtney Cox's hair.
Oh, the bangs.
But
really short fringe.
Very short fringe and very long bangs. Which is your favourite Scream? Sorry, I was saying, I know some people would say that's obvious, but I don't know if it is as obvious.
I really enjoy all of them, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, because the Mongoose likes a bit of slice and dice.
Me too. That's why we had our marathon.
I'd say I like all of them individually for their own, for their own unique kind of storyline and taste. Obviously, it's all the same. It's all based off movies, and there's always some twist in why they want to kill someone, which it always interlocks. But there's a set theme for each one individually, which we talked about. But as the favourite one, I'd say you always go with the original one. Obviously, for me, if you pick out a favourite in order, it'd always be part 1 because that's always the start of it. So I'd say part 1 is my favourite one, and then it leads into the franchise, then goes back on itself.
Yeah, because we both agree we like one of the ones that some people don't rate at all. And I'd probably say the first Scream is the best, but I really like Scream 4, which is the one some people don't like. I don't understand why they don't like it, because the cast is really good. It's one of the most memorable as far as the people who are in it, and Emma Roberts is amazing. And we were saying, or I sort of suggested that sometimes, having watched the films, the people who turn out to be the killer, it's like they're not exactly overacting, but it's not actually. You might not realise when you watch it for the first time, but looking back, it's like, well, they were the ones who were kind of acting a bit mad. Whereas Emma Roberts in 4, she becomes like that, but she's really kind of normal, and you. I don't know that you guess it was her. I mean, she's a scream queen. She's.
Well, it's the whole point of it, though, because I think what she learned, the character did, that she knew, and not she knew, that she learned that she could get away with lying.
Yeah.
So, in terms of like being a killer and stuff, that was her true instinct to be a killer for the fame. And this sweet innocent girl who was telling lies was like the mask she was actually wearing. So she revealed her true instincts by actually just being a killer, because she just wanted to seek out the fame and fortune, because she had enough of hearing about Sydney.
And they were trying to make a couple of other characters look possibly guilty. There was the publicist was they were trying to make her look a bit like she was guilty, or a bit suspect to start with, although that would have been quite similar to the journalist in 2. And also there was that moment, I think it was a scene where the policewoman meets Sydney at the house and says, "Do you remember me?" And up until then she's been quite kooky, but in that scene she's quite and it's all in shadow, and I think they're trying to make you think that she might be.
Yeah, they were turning into a bit of a red herring, weren't they?
I was getting all hormonal about how handsome everybody looked. because I didn't notice it when I first saw the films, because I was young as well, and now I'm like, oh, he's handsome. And then you shoved me into the cold shower. It didn't work. Because I found there was somebody in the cold shower who didn't about to be murdered. That's a reference to Scream 4 again. No, Scream 5.
Scream 5, yeah.
I think 1 is probably my favourite, 4 is probably my second, 3 is probably my third, 2 is probably my fourth, and 2, I mean, these are all really good though. I mean, 2, I did think I enjoyed, because you'd said you weren't so sure maybe about some things in 3, but I said, well, I think it's more fun, and I really enjoyed 3, and it's got quite a lot of cameos, and it's got Carrie Fisher playing somebody who looks like Carrie Fisher, and 5 is probably my least favourite of the first 5, but that's still good as well. So.
Yeah.
And
I think what I like most about like the first Scream film is like all the little Easter eggs, because throughout the first Scream film there's loads of hints to who the killers are.
Yeah.
And I forgot to show you what these hints were, because you see them inside Stu Marker's house that pinpoint to reveal who the killers are. Now a lot of people who've seen Scream will know that they're the killers, but I forgot to show you yesterday that there's hidden markers throughout the film saying, actually, they're the killers. I can still show you.
You know more. You've been on websites. You know quite a lot of things, because you said when we were talking about, because Henry Winkler is in it, and he used to be the Fonz, and you said, his leather jacket's in that cupboard.
Apparently so, yes. Apparently so, yes.
Which I didn't know about. And I think there's some other things you told me.
Yeah.
But
there's like little Easter eggs throughout the film.
Trying to think, what's your favourite kill in Scream, in a whole of Scream?
Favourite kill? I wouldn't say I have a favourite kill, but...
Sorry, it all sounds rather gory, but you know, we're talking horror today.
Yeah. Favourite kill would have to be Dewey. Not because I don't dislike the character, because I love Dewey. He's funny, but he has such an epic ending. That's one of the favourite kills.
Well, also when they kill off a character who's very, like, part of the main team, it's quite brave because they'd all survived pretty well until 5.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. Depends how much you count some of the early characters like Randy and things.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, when Dewey got it, I remember watching it in the cinema and I actually teared up because I've watched Scream when it first came out on VHS in like 96, 97. And so I've always watched the Scream movies.
Yeah.
So when I actually saw Dewey get it, I was like, oh.
No.
And the reaction from Gail when she discovers the truth of Dewey's fate, that was like, it was gut wrenching because it was like, okay, we've seen this character develop and progress and survive, and then till finally.
I'm tearing up now, listeners, just thinking about it.
Yeah. But I would say for that favourite killers, I would say for the favourite kill would be that one because it is gut wrenching. But I was saying yesterday, one of the most emotional, and not that you've asked the question, the emotional kills was Drew Barrymore's, I found. Because I remember first watching that and I felt utter sadness. And I think the music had a lot to do with it, and the acting from Drew Barrymore in that was really, really good. And how she died was just brutally insane. And I remember feeling, first watching this intense feeling of dread and sadness and this horror, which is what it's based on, obviously. And even to this day I still get like, oh, poor Drew Barrymore. Well, obviously the character, not Drew Barrymore herself. And that one, it's the first one as well. So I would say that's another, it's not, I wouldn't say a favourite kill, but it's a very emotional one.
The one I noticed that I suddenly realised it wasn't necessarily a typical one was the girl who gets stuck in the cat flap because he doesn't stab her or anything, or she gets beheaded by the garage door.
Yeah, she gets squished.
Most of them involve stabs, I'm looking forward to watching 6 again when that comes out in a few weeks' time. I really did very well to get through 5. It didn't seem like a chore or didn't get sort of. I know some people who do film marathons and it can get a bit sort of. They get to a point where they're watching one and now their eyes are half asleep. But I didn't need a nap or anything.
No. To be fair, the story, if you think of it as a whole, if you're doing a marathon, the time went really quickly. Like each film's on about an hour and 50 minutes, but it just goes so quick because you're getting through 5 movies, so it goes really quick. But yesterday doing a marathon, that was the first ever time I've done a Scream marathon as well.
It's a shame we didn't have 6, but then we have to wait until next time.
I think that comes out next month. Probably.
And we have seen it in the last 2 or 3 months. So.
Yes.
Did you mind that Nev Campbell didn't come back for 6? I initially I was a bit unhappy about it, but they kept it busy. And
I was really upset, actually, to be fair, because Nev Campbell's been in it from the beginning. She is the Scream queen. But obviously in part 5 when I first watched that, I didn't really enjoy it that much at first. And I didn't I won't say who the killers are, but I didn't really enjoy, I'm leading into part 6 with this. I didn't really enjoy the killer reveal in part 5, but leading into part 6, which I think I watched the first viewing on the first day it came out, and I was utterly surprised by that, how well it did actually work without Nev Campbell. And I liked how they led in the story of why Nev Campbell wasn't in it. They did it really really subtly, but it worked really well. But part 6 I did enjoy again, I'm not going to say who, what, when, why, but I didn't really enjoy the killer reveals in that film either. And to be fair, I love the movies, but I think it's getting a bit samey now, and I think if they were to do a part 7, it would need to change dramatically.
I mean, they did change the location in 6, which was a very good thing. I think that's why I said I found watching them in a row that I enjoyed 3 better than 2 because what the first one is sort of more school and then they're kind of more university, but it was still both educational type establishments, and 3 was Hollywood. I suppose I should tell the listeners what I told you is that when it came out, Scream 3, I remember being really cross because some reviewer in like a newspaper who'd clearly been asked to write a quick review and hadn't bothered to go and see it, and they wrote in Scream 3, Sydney goes to Hollywood to seek her fortune, which at no point does she do that. She goes to Hollywood because the other characters are there, but she's certainly not seeking her fortune. It just made me really cross.
If anything, she's hiding from it, isn't she?
Yeah.
Quite the opposite.
She's hiding from being found.
She's living off the grid, isn't she? She's being wise.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's lots more I could say about Scream, but we ought to talk about some other things. What we're going to watch, we've got a different lineup for today. We probably, unless we record something very briefly to go at some other point, we're recording before we have our Sunday afternoon film. I suggested we watched. Does it have it's a trilogy, but it's Unbreakable, which is an M. Night Shyamalan film. But I saw that and I own that. But there's 2 other films which I had never seen, so I don't know whether I'll like them or won't like them at this stage. But I wanted to see them. And if we have time after that, I'm going to show you Black Christmas, which is my perennial favourite. I usually watch it on Christmas Day or around that time, but you've never seen it, so, and there's a copy on YouTube, so we're going to watch that. And if I don't think we will, probably we might do, who knows.
Well, we did 5 movies yesterday.
Yeah, we did 5 movies today. None of our film marathons have we started.
Didn't we do 4 movies on Friday?
Yes, because of Halloween.
Yeah.
And we haven't started. We were watching my old Shy ATM location videos until sort of lunchtime time.
Yeah.
If we do watch another film, it will probably be Sightseers because you have a copy and we both said how much we like that film.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a good film. But of the films you've got, because I've been nosing around in your film collection, but you did say to me that not every film you've got there is your favourite. You might have bought it or been given it because you wanted to see it and then perhaps didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
But of the ones you've got, which are your massive favourites of what you own?
Oh, wow, that is a question, because my taste varies in horror movies, as you know.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a question. Because there's so many different genres, because I'm a fan of Scream and stuff, and I don't like all, torture, porn, gore films in that sense. Like with Scream, it's a bit more subtle, and it goes on to the more gorier stuff later in the movies, which kind of goes a bit oh yeah, I don't necessarily like that. But ideally, I like more psychological films, disturbing films like Jacob's Ladder, which is one, and then one of my all-time favourite movies that I will always have is, which again, it's not everyone's kind of cup of tea, because the film's based off a computer game, which is Silent Hill.
Oh yeah.
That's not everyone's kind of cup of tea or kind of movie, because it's a film from it's a movie adaptation from a game.
That's one of the ones you have that I would have quite liked to see. I can't remember if I have seen it, but...
Oh, we can cut out Sightseers and put Silent Hill on there.
You have to invite me back. I have played Silent Hill, not for a long time, but I've played it and did enjoy it. I do like those sorts of scary games, and Silent Hill was very scary, particularly if you're playing it late at night with the lights off.
Oh yes, definitely, especially Silent Hill 2, the game that, because again it's psychological, it messes with your brain. Visually, Silent Hill can be a bit like, ooh, but it's more the atmosphere of the setting and the music and all that, and the storyline. It's not so much like gore or anything, because there's very little gore in that film. Well, actually, there's a few scenes that are a bit like ooh, but it's not like like your normal like slasher kind of stuff. It's more like on a psychological type basis, and it has more meaning to it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Any other? I mean, obviously it's your collection, so there's going to be a lot there you like. But
yeah, there's, like I say, there's some movies. I like the classic movies. I've got Hell Night with Linda Blair, and which again was one of my favourite horror movies as a kid, because it used to spook the Jesus out of me.
You've got some old, some of the really old. Like Frankenstein, actually, the really old ones from the 40s and 50s.
Oh, they're the more. I haven't got them, but they're more of the novels I've got around, haven't I? Dracula, Frankenstein. Yeah.
You've got things. You got Game of Thrones. Are you a big Game of Thrones fan?
I wasn't originally, because when Game of Thrones first came out, I got fed up, of everyone talking about it. Everywhere I went, like even within my circle of friends, they spoke about it a lot. And I wasn't watching it, but I got fed up of hearing about it. And it was only last year that I remember watching series 1 about, 7-8 years ago, however long it was. And I gave up after series 1. I was like, yeah, because series 1's like the setup to it. But then last year I thought, I'll give it a try. And I'm really glad that I watched it years later when all the hype was over. And I did thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, I got stuck because I started watching season 1 and never finished. And then I tried again and watched the first season, but didn't say I wouldn't watch season 2, but never did, and well, not yet anyway.
Yeah.
But I often think with these things, well, there'll be a moment at some point. Best not to force it; it'll happen if it happens.
Yeah, of course.
We've also been, we've been listening to quite a lot of music. Where we've just been sort of doing things, whilst Neil's been cooking, or what you've been doing, washing up, and I was reminded that. We have some favourites in common, and we probably have quite a lot of them in common. What we've been watching quite a bit of Kate Bush, talking about Kate Bush, and also I didn't realise you liked Amy Mann. I walked in and you were watching an Amy Mann video, and I said, "Oh, Amy Mann," you went, "Oh, she's brilliant." And I'm like, "I didn't know you liked Amy Mann."
Yeah, I like Amy Mann. Yeah, I do. I've been again with like music and stuff like that. I don't follow them in the terms of what albums they do or anything. I just like songs, so when I listen to them, I just type in the song or whatever. Yeah, I don't, with Kate Bush, I have listened to her albums. Amy Mann, I've listened to a few albums, but I couldn't tell you what songs of what albums. But no, I've been a fan of Amy Mann's music for about 15 years now. I love her voice. She's got a tremendous voice. So is Kate Bush.
Yeah. Also, Annie Lennox has come up a few times. Do you like Annie Lennox?
I do. I love Annie. I do love Annie Lennox. Yeah, a New Earth mix. I've
forgotten also, because we might not have talked about it recently, that you did painting and that you painted people like Kate Bush. And not that she wasn't here. Well, maybe she was the other, but he, who have you painted?
I've painted Kate Bush. Lady Gaga, Billy Idol, Madonna, Adele,
but I remembered that I think I had seen them, or you sent me a photo but I'd kind of totally forgotten because we hadn't discussed it for ages. Are the ones you painted the people you particularly like musically, or the other ones other acts that you really like that you haven't painted?
No, the paintings that I've usually done are for people who they've liked, they like those certain artists. Like, I don't listen to, Adele or anything, but I did a painting for a friend of Adele who was donating the money for the painting to charity. So I was like, well, I'll do you the painting, you donate the money to charity. And that's what I did with a lot of paintings, because I was volunteering for a charity. So I did a few paintings to raise money for the charity. So it was mainly for that reason why I painted those particular artists, is because these people wanted them. But I did like Kate Bush recently for a gift for a friend, just a small one. It was like A4 size.
I only asked this question. I'll tell you why. Do you like Shakespeare's sister?
I love Shakespeare's sister.
See, I'm a detective, listeners, because at one point we were doing something and you said Hottentot, and which is a bit from I Don't Care by Shakespeare's sister. I do like Shakespeare's sister, but my friend Harry, who's on the show many times, is a massive Shakespeare's sister fan. And I kind of helped him on his way because I think I gave him his first copy of Your History, and also when the second album, when Hormonally Yours came out,
the album,
which I bought recently on vinyl. I haven't opened it yet. I bought it when I could afford to buy it, but I've got too many things I haven't opened yet. But I do have it on vinyl now as well. Yeah, I bought Goodbye Cruel World, because that was the first single off the album, and it didn't do very well the first time. Then they released Stay, and it did massively well. But I was like, Goodbye Cruel World, and then when it did do a bit better when it was released the second time, but that was about the fourth or fifth single or something. But Harry's a massive fan of theirs, and he's a massive fan of Marcella Detroit, and I mean I've even met Marcella Detroit through him, because we went to I think we went to at least one or two shows where she was very close. We went to one in a club, and at the end she invited everybody to come on the stage and sort of stand around her, which is very trusting.
Wow.
But he's met her lots of different things, and he's just done this thing where he paid to go on one of her writing courses, which is like 3-hour-long sessions online, where you write a song with her. Basically, well, there's a few of you, but I think she has the tune, but you write the lyrics, and then she sings your version. And I think he found it very well.
Wow.
He found it great because he loves her anyway. But,
yeah, I think she has a phenomenal voice. Phenomenal voice. Yes, definitely.
Because some Shakespeare Sisters fans are more Siobhan Fairey fans.
Oh, I love them equally.
Yeah.
Equally.
Siobhan, I'm sort of Shakespeare's sister. It should be both of them.
Yeah, it is both of them, isn't it?
Yeah, at least they have kind of come back to work together again.
Almost. When they released their song a few years back, I remember sending you the video. I was like, no way, they're back. And I was like, thank goodness they're back after all these years. I'm like, bloody great.
I don't think they split up again. I don't know what they're doing, but
I hope they haven't.
I think they're still. Maybe there'll be more. I don't know. But is there anybody else who we haven't mentioned musically that you really like, or particularly?
No, because again, for me now, I don't really have a particular favourite artist no more. I used to. Obviously, it used to be the Queen, Madonna, but I've kind of gone off her music as I've got older. But I'm very eclectic with my music, so I don't particularly have a favourite artist or a favourite song in that terms, because I'm very open to music. So
I got you doing a little dance for the new Kylie song when I got here. You found me on YouTube. And
I did.
You did a little wiggle.
A little wiggle, yeah, a little wiggle.
It's very good at wiggling, this thing. He's Yeti Cub, Mr. Mongoose the Yeti Cub. He's taking over my Yeti dancing duties. We've been watching my old videos, so he knows what he needs to do.
He's
got, we watched quite a lot. We watched almost as many episodes as we watch horror movies. We probably watch more because they are shorter.
I had the theme tune.
Hey Big Fatty, it's me, Paul the Shy Yeti. How are you doing? Sorry, the washing machine's on in the background, but I can't help it. It's not my washing machine. It's quite quiet. I hope it's not going to annoy you. It's quite soothing, actually. I'm just sending you a quick message because I've gone on an adventure. I've gone up to Stoke, which is, near Manchester. Well, about half an hour from Manchester. And, Stoke-on-Trent. And I'm visiting a friend of mine who I've known for about 10 years, and I've talked to them on the phone, and I've talked to them often, but I've never met them in real life. So we decided that we really ought to change that. And because of engineering works and the price of tickets, we decided that it was a good idea if I came up for 4 or 5 days, which, for a first meeting, gosh, if we hadn't have got on very well, then that might not have been so good. But I kind of thought we would because, we have known each other so long. We decided we were going to have a film weekend, watching lots of horror films because we both like horror films. I don't think I've ever watched so many films in one day. We watched the Omen trilogy the first day and Halloween. So we watched 4 films on the Friday, and the first day we didn't actually watch any film because we were so busy nattering. We're right old chatterboxes. And then Saturday we watched the first 5 Scream films. The only reason we didn't watch the 6th one is that we don't have a copy of it on Blu-ray. So I kind of thought, having watched 5 scary Scream films, that maybe I'd have had nightmares. But I often get dreams, kind of weird dreams. But last night I didn't have any dreams at all, let alone scary ones. I had the most peaceful night's sleep I've had in absolutely years. Don't know what that says about me, but obviously watching scary movies before bed suits me well. But anyway, my friend is just gone down the supermarket to get some food for breakfast and lunch. And I'm just watching the washing machine. That's my job. It's still working. It's all doing well. But anyway, I better go. We've got to watch more films today. Not sure what we're going to watch, but it'll probably be scary. And then tomorrow I have to go home. It's gone very quickly. And he's been feeding me very well. We had pasta bake, really nice breakfasts, and yes, I've been treated extremely well. Also, the bed I've been sleeping on is extremely soft, and I'm hoping to better steal it and take it back to my home because it's a very, very comfortable bed. Anyway, I'm not sure I can get it in my rucksack, but I'll see what I can do. All right, I'll speak to you soon. And yes, bye-bye for now. Bye-bye from Stoke. Okay, bye-bye.
Now, we may be having something else coming up now, or we may be going straight into this, I'm not sure. But some of my friends from the show want to just say hello. We've got the monitor screens up, and we'll see who's there. I've told you a little bit about these people, that they just want to say hello to you. They'll be fine. They'll be glad to speak to you. But I think first up we have Yeti Uncle John. Hello, Yeti Uncle John. Hello, is that you, Paul? It is. Yes. Mr. Mongoose is here. Oh yes, have you been looking after it? Has he been trouble? Mr. Mongoose, has he been trouble?
None at all.
Oh, that's good to hear. I haven't been in trouble. I've been very, very good. Well, I don't believe that, but anyway, he's been very polite. But is there been much food? There's been lots of food, yes, Uncle John. Why didn't you invite me? Because he's...
No room at the inn.
Mr. Mongoose is my friend. Oh, charming. You've got friends of your own? Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, I know most of them are from Shane Jail, but... don't bring that up in front of him. Sorry. Cromity's here. He wants to say hello. All right. Cromity? Hello, Paul. Hello, Mr. Mongoose. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
And have you been watching lots of... Yeti Uncle John doesn't like horror films. He's a big scaredy cat. Don't tell him that. Well, it is true, Yeti Uncle John. We went to see Screen 6. Probably had to hold his hand all the way through. Oh, dear, I'm embarrassed. I'm leaving. Goodbye, Yeti Uncle John. Oh, it's true. He's very scared. I like a horror film. I may not be the sort of person you would expect to like horror films, but I find that is often the case, that people you expect, like big, hard, tough blokes who you think would love horror films, are really scared of horror films, and like eccentric scientists like me, who you think would be a bit scared, love them. It's strange, but there you go. Well, what are you going to be watching this afternoon? Well, we've just told the listeners that we're going to be watching. I don't know. I guess. What would you call those films? Unbreakable films. They're not really horror films, are they? They're sort of difficult to pinpoint them. Weird, sort of. Well, yeah. I'm not sure. We're not sure what genre they count as, because they've probably got bits of everything. No, I hope you have fun. We will. Is there anyone else that wants to speak to us? Yes. I think Bettina is here. Oh, all right. Bettina, how are you?
Oh, darling, I'm fine. Oh, hello, Mr. Mongoose.
Hello, Bettina.
Oh, you're a handsome fellow. He's got muscles and everything.
Yeah, Bettina, please, you're a married lady.
I haven't, I've got flap.
Well, anyway.
I haven't got my glasses on, but I'm imagining muscles.
He's got a few. He's very modest. But any questions you have, Bettina?
Oh, darling, would you come stay at my house?
Oh, no.
Bettina, stop it now. She's dreadful.
August might like to paint him.
Oh, really? Well, Mr. Mongoose is a painter himself, so maybe he'll come and visit August instead.
Oh, darling, that's not fair.
Anyway, we're going to have to go because we've got a lot of other things to be doing and films to watch. Anybody else around?
Hello, darling. I think Martin might be here. Martin, are you here? I'm here. Hello, Mr. Mongoose. I imagine, this is my question. I imagine with all the cooking that's been going on, there must have been some wonderful smells in your flat.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. There has been. I can confirm that.
What was your favourite, Paul?
What of the foods? They've all been good, but I don't know. If I had to choose the favourite of the dinners we've had so far, I think the tuna bake is maybe the number one. They're all good, but but tuna bake also reminded me of something I used to make, fish finger pie, and it had a real nice flavour with the fish and the cheese, and it brought back happy memories. So I think, tuna bake for me, I think, but spaghetti bolognese was great, and what was the first? What did we have the first day?
We had pie.
Oh, pie! Yeah,
pie and mash.
Yeah, pie and mash. That was great, and he knows me well. He had the food all lined up, right? You'd have liked it a lot, Martin, I think.
I think I've done it where I would. Well, I'm glad you've been having a good time.
All right, Martin. Well, we better go. I need to say a few more words to Mr. Mongoose before we go, and I'll catch up with you all when I get back to Surrey.
All right, Paul. Nice to meet you, Mr. Mongoose.
Nice to meet you too, Martin.
Well, there you are. You got to meet some of the gang.
I did. I didn't scare any of them.
No.
Time yet.
Didn't scare you, hopefully, but I don't quite know how we can encapsulate this for the listeners, but we've in the time I've been spending here, we've come up with little catchphrases we didn't have before. We've developed a rapport which is different to the rapport that we had.
Didn't we change song lyrics?
You what?
We changed song lyrics.
We changed song lyrics
to match the horror films.
Yeah. We did that. And
what was the Kylie Minogue one we did?
I could be so stabby. Yeah. Stabby.
I just can't get my naff out your back.
Yeah, I don't think Kylie's going to be coming to us for any lyric writing, unfortunately. But,
that's right.
But yes, I've been doing silly accents. I've been doing silly accents. Well, they're not silly, but I've been doing different accents. What you say? You're right, Chuck.
You're right, Doc.
You're right, Doc.
Yeah.
I'm alright, yeah.
You're right, Doc.
I'm alright, yeah. Oh, you're so lovely, thank you. I'll have another cup of tea, please.
Cup of tea, dear.
Cup of tea. Oh, yes. I'll have a slice of cake.
Okay.
Well, it was actually biscuits. We had some good biscuits. Oh, we had some good biscuits.
Yeah.
We had those chocolate ones with the ginger in. They were very good.
Oh.
And then we had
the dark chocolate.
We had chocolate hobnobs and Haribo as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some interesting drinks as well. We've had some booze drinks, listeners. Not lots, but some.
Mm-hmm.
We had just right. If we'd had too many booze drinks, we wouldn't have got through the film.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Pernod Black, which I have. What I like about your drinks, Mr. Mongoose, is that you make them into like long drinks, because sometimes with spirits, how quick if someone's drinking a pint and you're drinking a spirit, it's difficult to you can make a pint last for ages, but a spirit's difficult to sort of make. You take little sips, but. You do Pernod Black. I've never had it as a long drink, but a friend of mine at university used to drink Pernod Black, and it used to make him quite ill. But I used to drink it, and it didn't make me ill. But there was a pub landlord in the pub in my parents' village who couldn't remember which one of us it made ill, and a couple of times he said, "Oh, you better not have that." It's not me who gets ill; it's that guy over there. What was the one we have a ginger beer? What was the one we have a ginger beer?
Disaronno.
Oh yeah, Disaronno and was it good?
Ginger beer. Disaronno and ginger beer.
Yeah. That was very tasty. And then we had Southern Comfort and lemonade. Well, 7-Up, which is slightly different to lemonade. It's been very jolly and very tasty, and just trying to think if there's anything else we can tell the listeners. What's your favourite? Been the favourite part of this with my visit?
That has been a very relaxed weekend.
Yeah.
And it's been finally good to meet you.
Yeah.
After years of talking.
Yeah.
We've actually caught up, watched Scream, and ate good food. So all in all, it's been a grand weekend.
I think, because that's when we didn't get around to watching any TV the first day because I was too busy talking. I had so much talking to do.
That's fine.
But
you didn't come here to sit in silence.
No, I didn't.
So talking is key factor, it's key point.
Yeah, but you don't always know, even if you get on well with somebody on the phone, you don't necessarily get a full picture.
No, and I guess for the first time as well, obviously you build up a rapport when you're talking on the phone, but in person it's a whole lot different because it's in the flesh, you sat next to one another, so it's again, you're building up another layer of, the foundation of friendship. So with that, like anything, when you first talk on the phone, it takes time. It's the same in person. You build up that rapport, you build up that trust, and you build up more common interests or not so common interests, or you find out people's different opinions and ethics and morals and all that kind of stuff, and it just adds to it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Also, Mr. Mongoose has got lots of tattoos, so I've been reading those. It's not really just books. He has got lots of books. We didn't really talk about the books too much, but then you did say some of the books you've got them and you haven't read them yet. So.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a book collector, but slowly I'm getting through them now because I've made the decision saying, well, you buy these books if you're in the mood to them, but you haven't read them, so now I'm slowly reading through them, even if I just do an hour a night. Because otherwise you just sat there looking pretty, and you may look pretty, but you want to read if you read pretty or grotesque.
Well, listeners, I think we've run out of time now. What I might do is just record 2 or 3 minutes and put it right at the end of the episode about what we thought of our movie marathon today, or maybe even include it in an episode. Who knows? But we may have a little talk about those films. But I'll see what happens. If it doesn't appear this time, it'll appear another time. And I've got another 24 hours almost here, but we've got to get down to watching films. So, and enjoying our last afternoon together.
And eating food. Don't forget the eating food part.
Yes, yeah. So yes, well, listeners, thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed our chat, and I hope you've enjoyed the other bits that got in this episode, which were all recorded like just before I came up here. So, well, thank you very much, Mr. Mongoose, or to give you your full name, Mr. Mongoose Spaghetti Cub, and I hope you'll have me back. Thank you for talking to the listeners.
Thank you, listeners.
So, so we're going to say goodbye now, and there'll be a little bit more chat after the theme tune when I get back to Surrey, because the regulars will want to know what's been going on. They're so nosy, but anyway, we've got plenty of episodes in the can, so join us again soon. We'll say goodbye for now. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Kitty Cub.
Goodbye, and I'll see you soon.
Oh, Mr. Mongoose.
Yes, thanks God, I'm back. Got the washing on, have you? Yes, I have. I've just I've only just been back about 10 minutes. I just unpacked, and actually, Mr. Mongoose was very nice. He did wash a couple of my t-shirts whilst I was there. It's difficult carrying enough for a few days, but oh well. It was very nice talking to him on the, the old video conferencing thing. Did you have a nice time? I had a very nice time, thank you, yes. It was very good, very nice to finally meet Mr. Mongoose. Why is he called Mr. Mongoose? Is that really his name? What's his first name? It's all very formal. No. I'll be honest. His real name isn't Mr. Mongoose. He has top secret business. Top secret business? What is he, a spy? I can't speak. I can't speak about it. It's it's very private. And he agreed that if he was going to be on the show, that it was better that he used a nom de plume. A nom de what? A fake name. It's an in-joke, Mr. Mongoose. I've known him a long time, and his other name is Yeti Cub. Oh, why didn't you call him that? I didn't know he was a Yeti. Yes, he has certain Yeti traits, but you called him Mr. Mongoose, the Yeti Cub. Mr. Mongoose, the Yeti Cub. Yeah, well, that's kind of how it ended up, yes. Well, I know that, certain podcasters do have, nom de plumes. Obviously, Mr. Trowbridge and Miss Lisa. That's not their real names. No, that is their real names. Is it? Oh, I get confused. I can't remember which ones have real names and which ones don't have real names. I know, it does get confusing. I know for a fact that Toppy Smelly, that's definitely his real name. Yes, of course, that is true. Toppy Smelly's name is really Toppy Smelly. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Yeah. Oh. Well, I could hear the theme music coming. So can I. And the washing machine. Sorry, listeners. Oh, gosh, yes, Will. I'd have thought you'd have waited till the washing machine finished, but you're quite a maverick, aren't you, in the world of podcasting? I guess I am, it's Uncle John.
I gotta go now! Bye! Gotta go! Bye!
Goodbye.
It's been good, but yeah, definitely time to come home now.
Wow, really? No kidding.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
This show is part of the Pride 48 network. Find more shows over at pride48.com.
Oh dear, what's going on now? Oh, it's the Shy Life podcast. Let's go.
I have a voice. I have a voice.
You have a voice.
You have a voice. We have a voice.
We have a voice.
Unique voices in podcasting.
UnivazPods.net.
Hello, Paul. Did you have a nice trip? I did, Comedy, yes. Sorry, I'm recording, but I've got the washing machine on, but keep talking. Oh, hey, yes, I'm glad you had a good journey. Did you record on the train as well? No, not this time. I was just concentrating on getting about because I haven't done such a long journey for a while. So, no, never really happened. I didn't really get much time to myself. But I guess I could have recorded in Euston Station when I was waiting on the way up. But no, I knew I had those bits pre-recorded. Well, there's only so much you can fit in an episode. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you got to speak with your friend Mr. Mongoose. Yes, Mr. Mongoose. I wonder what his name is. Well, you can guess, if you like. Is it Rumpelstiltskin? Oh, is that his name? Rumpelstiltskin? No. Well, maybe it is. Oh, Paul, you're playing with me now. No, I can't tell you his real name. As I say, it's all top secret, and he's working incognito. Incognito. Oh, I've been there. It's very nice. You can get a nice cocktail there. Yes. Well, anyway, it was very nice to visit Mr. Mongoose, and we watched so many films. But I say that as a positive thing because that was our plan, to watch lots of films. Yes, Paul, gosh, you didn't have nightmares. Actually, I didn't. I did wonder, after we watched 5 Scream films in one day, whether I would have slasher nightmares, but I don't think I had any nightmares. One of the most undreamy night's sleep I've ever had. So, gosh, you know how horror films can affect some people. Oh yes, like Yeti Uncle John, he would not have liked to watch all those films. No, he wouldn't. But I would have done. Paul, we can always have a film night together. Well, that would be nice, Cromitty. We would have watched the 6th one, but we don't have a copy. We probably will be getting a copy soon, but oh yes, well, we did sit out at the cinema quite recently. Yeah, that's true, we did. Not long ago now. We saw it when it was new, didn't we? Yes, we saw it when it was new. But, gosh. Well, I'm glad you had a nice time. And meeting your mysterious friend for the first time. Yeah, it was. I've known him for a long time, but never met with him. And then I spent 4 or 5 days with him, and we got on very well. And he looked after me like a Yeti king. Oh yes, Paul. Well, I hope you will visit him again. I certainly will if I'm invited. Yes. Well, I suppose we better go. Yes, Paul? You need to get your washing done. I do, don't I? Yes. Sorry, listeners. I hope it's just in the background. And anyway, you know me. I record in all environments. Oh yes, you most certainly do. All right, bye for now. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
I've heard that Paul's extremely nimble.
The best part of the Shy Life podcast is when it ends.
Nothing. Oh, my God, nothing. There's nothing I like better than having a new Shy Life podcast hit my ear bone, my ear canal, something like that. You know, I haven't been on Paul the Shy Yeti's little podcast for a long time. That was a long one today, huh, folks?
So, Mr. Mongoose, very briefly, we were going to just talk about the films we watched yesterday, which were well, they call it something else, but on Wikipedia, but it's the 3 films that sort of linked: Unbreakable, Split and Glass. And then we watched Black Christmas as well. I'd seen Unbreakable, but not for a long time. And but I've not seen Split and Glass. And I think you like Split best, don't you?
Yes.
That's about a character with multiple personalities, and none of the characters from Unbreakable. I didn't realise that they weren't more closely linked, but then in Glass, the characters from the first 2 films come into it. So, did you enjoy watching them again?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. I enjoy Split more than Unbreakable and Glass. Because it's a bit more eerie, it's a bit more suspenseful.
You could watch Split by itself, couldn't you? But,
yes.
Which I've thought about doing. It's very difficult when you get sort of trilogies and things, even if you can watch them like that, whether you, can you just have one of them? Well, I'm going to have Unbreakable anyway, so. And what did you think of Black Christmas?
Very suspenseful. Caused induced anxiety when I couldn't find out who the killer was.
Yeah, that is a frustrating element, considering how many times I've watched it. We were saying that, I was saying that in a way, I don't, as much as I like slashers, it does lose something a bit when you know who the killer is each film. So there's no sort of, at least with Friday the 13th, it's not quite as clear cut with the early ones, or at least with the first one, as to who the killer is. But I prefer really a slasher film where you don't know who the killer is, where there's a bit of mystery. That's also why I like a lot of the Italian giallos, because they are basically murder mysteries with a sort of, well, slasher edge, but it's before that was even a term. But well, I'm glad you've seen it anyway, because it is quite an important film if you like slasher movies, and also does get referenced in, was it Scream 4?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And it's a good film if you don't like Christmas.
But, anyway, we have to make a move, so yeah, just wanted to briefly cover those films. But bye, listeners.
Bye.
642.
642. That's a 6, a 4, and a 2.
642. 642.
642.
That's a good start.